Forum are back in the Equality Court in Johannesburg for their second day of their legal battle over the apartheid flag. Yesterday, the foundation asked the court to declare gratuitous display of the apartheid flag as hate speech. It said that the continuation of such acts constitute hate speech, harassment and unfair discrimination. AfriForum is opposing the application. Today, an Afrikaans group, AFK, said declaring the public displays of the flag hate speech would amount to the suppression of freedom of speech. AFK is supporting AfriForum. Let's go now to our reporter Gillian Pillay, who's at the Equality Court. A very good afternoon to you, Gillian. Very strong closing arguments from both Advocate Themba as well as people for AfriForum. What's happening?
Very good afternoon to you. As you said, there were very strong submissions made in the past 2 days. Those submissions have now wrapped up, and now it is for Judge Phineas Majapelo to peruse those submissions made. Very strong submissions, as you said, they're coming through from all parties, you know, for and against, those wanting a total ban of the apartheid flag, but also those making submissions as to why there shouldn't be a total ban. I'm joined by AfriForum's Billy Spies. I'm going to Mr. Spies, just in this last half an hour, we saw quite a few strong submissions being made from the Nelson Mandela Foundation. Just your thoughts on some of those submissions made around, the racial utterances that was made around the flag and why they are calling for a total ban, both in private as well.
Yes. Well, obviously, it's not for me to comment on the arguments that were led here. It is for the parties who actually litigate in the court themselves. So my job is to convey the message that my client asked us to convey, and also to explain the process. The message our client wanted to convey was that they do not have a particular love for this flag. It's been said numerous times. Our client is committed to the new South African flag, and we accept that. And our client also discourages the use of the old flag at its meetings. That's a fact, it's a given, it's published, it's general knowledge. AfriForum do not use the old flag, and they discourage it for the very simple reason, actually the very same reasons that were argued in court today. We accept that it is offensive. We accept that it does remind people of a painful past. We accept all those facts. What we do, however, say is that we are treading upon a very dangerous slope if we start banning things that reminds us of evil things that happened in the past, because symbols are being used in different contexts, they are being used in different ways, they are being used in different circumstances. And a blanket ban, as was asked for by the Nelson Mandela Foundation, we thought would overreach the boundaries of freedom of expression. Obviously, we know that hateful conduct needs to be prohibited. We are actively pursuing matters of hate speech where hate speech do occur. So we are not opposed to the banning of hateful conduct. And to the extent that the waving of the flag is being used in a hateful manner, then so be it. Then those specific circumstances need to be addressed in a court like this. Our concern is a blanket ban. Our concern is a blanket decision by a court to say that in any circumstances this is not going to be allowed in South Africa. And that was more or less the approach AfriForum followed in this court case.
That was very spicy from AfriForum, but I'm also now joined by the ANC spokesperson, Mr. Dakota. Mr. Dakota, yesterday we saw the Gauteng MEC, possibly not in that capacity, but Panyaza Lesufi coming through and being part of these proceedings just in the gallery. You are here today also supporting this move by the Nelson Mandela Foundation. Does the flag have a place in post-apartheid South Africa?
Look, I think it's important for all of us to respect the fact that we have a new dispensation, a new democracy, a new constitution. Any attempt to resuscitate symbols of a regime that was declared by the United Nations as a crime against humanity, it will be an attempt of trying to ask a victim of a Holocaust to hang up a Hitler photo on their dining room. So equally it's the same thing. This particular flag, it will be rubbing salt in the wounds of millions of South Africans, who more than 4,000 of them were hanged in Kgosi prison, who more than 200,000 of them are displaced until today, even in other countries in the world, whom millions of them are dispossessed and poor today and working class. And I think it will be very wrong that the government that was declared, including its symbol, as a crime against humanity, to find expression 25 years later into our democracy and come to a point where even we come to court to debate such a matter. We are not saying this particular flag must be banned. What we are saying, it belongs to museums, it belongs to our archives, it's part of our history. Indeed, there was a regime here that dealt with its people, and they used that particular flag as a symbol which every morning, every afternoon they saluted as a semi-god. So we will not allow that particular symbols of such painful history and the past should be resuscitated and through wrong means where they are being displaced. When we have a country where there is a constitution, we cannot allow two flags to fly in one republic. That's treasonous, that is wrong, and it cannot be encouraged.
They're saying, AfriForum's arguments and submissions, saying that, they don't want a total ban because it's going to infringe on privacy. Some of them wanting to have it in their homes. Your response to that?
Look, it belongs to museums. It does not belong to homes. Homes are part of a social fabric of our society. So if we say something is wrong, it's wrong even in a home. It cannot be wrong in the streets and be right at a home. We are saying the flag, if it's there, it can go to museums, it can go to other archives and historical sites as part of showing even our future generations that we had a Gata government, an apartheid colonial government, wherein there was a slave and a slave master relations, and this was the flag which was saluted at that period. And I think it cannot even be at homes because those homes are part of our relationship. I can't go to his home and find a flag of a regime. That would be wrong. It's not an expression of freedom. It's an abuse of an expression of freedom because it cannot be correct. Anything, it's like I earlier said, asking a victim of a Holocaust who's a Jew to hang up a Hitler swastika or a Hitler photo. That's an insult to our integrity. That's an insult to our sovereignty.
ANC spokesperson there just telling us that the flag has a place in South Africa, but in museums, and it's part of our history, and it should rather be among the archives of what our country's history is all about. Back to the studio in Johannesburg.
Thanks, Gillian Pillay in the Equality Court, giving us an update there. Let's go to Soweto now.